This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to a special episode that is by request on something I get asked really frequently. And what are the best wide foot and inexpensive shoes you can get? Well, bear with me. Let's try to figure this out together. Let's jump right in. Your first time clicking on this channel, thank you. Please consider subscribing, and if it's helped you, give it a thumbs up. It really helps out. I will try to put links below, so if you guys want to click on that and go through the affiliates, that does help the channel as well. But the first thing I want to do is going over wide foot problems. Guys, I understand you. I know a lot of reviewers out there talk about what could fit a wide footer, and if you're not a wide footer, you probably just don't understand, and vice versa. I can't tell if a shoe is going to fit really good on someone with a narrow or normal foot. So I can assume, I can think, but I try to be upfront. I have a wide foot. I have a bigger foot, 12, 13 than most reviewers, and I'm a bigger guy at around 240, 245 pounds. So it's a different review and an aspect than a lot of other reviewers. So with that said, if you're a wide footer, I definitely want to go over the different nuances of knowing your own foot. And if you guys want a more specified video on this, let me know. But we're going to use this right here. This is the Adidas Next Level 2020 or Next Level 2. And if you have a wide foot, it's going to affect you in multiple areas. One, you have a wide toe box. All right, so this is something that obviously right here, where this is something that actually appears quite narrow. It's not the widest of shoes, but generally when you have an upper like this that's a knit, it gives way. It actually molds pretty well. This has leather on each side, so this is something that does a decent job. Second, if you have a wide midfoot right here, this is my problem. Even though I have a decently wide toe box, it's not as wide as my midfoot. This is also affected is if you have fallen arches or flat feet, that can affect having a wider midfoot. I actually don't have flat feet, but I still have a wide midfoot. So those two things don't necessarily go hand in hand, and you don't want to make that assumption, but just knowing your own foot. Something like this, because of the knit, it does break in decently, but you do have this foam piece. Depending on the shoe, you may have something that is wide foot friendly and it fits the toe box for someone, but not the midfoot, and vice versa. And finally, just the girth of your foot, and that applies to also your instep. So what that means is when you have something, when you're talking about the girth, it's a weird word. It's not saying you have a fat foot, but those that have, your toes are a little bit bigger. So this space that's actually pretty narrow as far as this area, you need more room. It feels like it's really pressing down on you. Same thing, the width or girth of your foot, you may have a big foot on top. Now that's going to affect your instep, which is this height, which in this kind of shoe, even though this is generally wide foot friendly, it is incredibly hard to get your foot into here because it presses down really aggressively. It's because there's no laces on it. But at the same time, if you have a high instep or you have a foot with more girth in different areas, a shoe like this just may not work, even though it's wide foot friendly in the toe box. So there's a lot of specifics you want to get on here. So I have a lot of shoes. Bear with me. I'm kind of surrounded here. I'm going to go through each level and which wide foot shoes are going to work with you. And hopefully we can break this down and help you guys out, make a better decision for your next hoop and shoe. All right, so the first category are shoes that fit well for wide footers if you just go up half a size, sometimes a full size. These are two versions of that. This is the Kobe 5 Pro Cho, and in a size 13, this fits me great. I'm a 12 wide or 12 and a half, but 12 and a half is hard to find sometimes, and 13s is kind of more normal since going down to a 12 is just way too narrow. But in a 13, this fits fantastic. Like my toe is still kind of close where I want it to be, but I have a little bit of room, which is good. A lot of people, a lot of players like their shoes a little bit too tight, and that can cause you kind of damage on your foot later down the road. You want enough room for your toes to kind of splay out. So you have that ability, as well as if your feet are here and as you move them, as your foot kind of swells up, it gets hot, it actually is going to get a little bit bigger. So you want to have a little bit of space. So for me, going up that half size or even technically full size, if you look at it, either one of these shoes starts to fit really good. Now, if you ask me, hey, Levi, what is a good wide foot friendly shoe? I wouldn't recommend these because you're going that size up. So for me, that doesn't really count. But if you guys watch my channel, if you watch reviews, I do try to go over fit first because that is the most important thing for a shoe. And it's really annoying having reviewers bury the fit in the middle of the review and then barely talk about it like it's oh, okay, let's talk about the style and the cushion. Now, fit is the most important thing. So something like these are wide foot friendly-ish as long as you're going up that half or sometimes full size, and as long as you're getting a good lockdown. Don't be afraid of going up half a size or full size. There's a lot of people I've talked to who just don't want to do it. They're not comfortable, and that's your personal preference. That's okay. From my experience and from working with different athletes, going up half a size or full size, as long as you have lockdown, you're going to be just fine. You have something that fits well, and you might surprise you how well you can perform when you have a shoe that works with you in all of the areas and the half size doesn't bother you. You can keep playing and enjoy the shoe. The next shoe I want to bring up is one of my absolute favorite performers of the year that is elite in pretty much every level, but has a huge caveat with fit. Unlike last year's model, it is wide foot friendly. I was able to do a 12.5 when I've been a 13 on almost every other model. And that's the KD13. And the big difference between this and a lot of other shoes that you need to pay attention to is this toe box is very narrow. Some shoes have that. Depending on your foot shape, a lot of players like that. I know Soul Brothers, they like having that narrow shoe, but he's also like a size 7.5 and has tiny feet. He doesn't like any space on there. That's fine. That's what fits him. That's his preference. But if you have a little more girth in your foot as far as the thickness going this way, if you have a little more height on your toes, something like this is just going to be uncomfortable. You always feel like this point of the shoe is just completely pushing down on you no matter how much, and especially when you flex. So even though this is wide foot friendly in the toe box, has room in the midfoot, if you have a high instep, here it's fine, but down here it's just a problem area for a lot of players. But I can absolutely recommend this shoe with that caveat. Now, the third level of wide foot friendly shoes are wide foot shoes that are going to fit your toe box, they're going to fit your midfoot, maybe they have space for your foot, your girth, but they're just hard to get on because you have a taller instep or the girth on your foot is towards the middle of your foot. Shoes like the PG4, the Pro Boost, which I'll have a full review on coming up, and the next level are all pretty much wide foot friendly. I was able to go true to size 12 on both the Adidas. I was able to do a 12.5 on the PG line, which I've been a 13 on every single model beforehand, from the PG1, the 2, the 2.5, the 3, and now the 4, and they've always been a 13. I was able to do a 12.5 on this, and even that half size was only because getting this on is just difficult. So if you have a thicker ankle or a high instep, it's just hard to get on, and a lot of players have had to go up a full size. Now, because of the way the lacing system is, you're still able to get a really good lockdown. So if you can get it on your foot and you enjoy it, it's okay. Go up the full size. That's not a problem, even though people talk about, well, this is not wide foot. No. Once your foot is in here, these materials have very little restrictions. And I'll show you even on the next level. This is something, it's a knit, it moves with your foot, but just getting something like this on your foot is incredibly hard with a lot of pressure pushing down. This is probably the worst one of these three, where yes, it's wide foot friendly, but it actually can cause a lot of issues if you have a thicker ankle or higher instep. And finally, the Pro Boost. This looks like a normal shoe. Here's a tongue, but if you guys can see in here, it actually has an elastic band right there, and that elastic band just creates a kind of a difficult shoe to get on. It's easier than the rest of these three, or the other two. So this one is still good. It still has plenty of room. It's still wide foot friendly, but just getting that on could be an irritation. So that's a heads up. So even though it's wide foot friendly, bear that in mind. And that's kind of your next step. So we finally have shoes that have are coming up in the next level that is going to be completely wide foot friendly with no issues. So let's jump right in. Now, I don't want to put these in any particular order simply because I do have reviews on most of these. Let me know if I don't, if you guys look through the channel, so you can jump in. But there's 4 different models here. Some are harder to get than others. One is already getting old just because new versions have come out. But we're going to jump in, I guess, with the oldest one, and that's the N7 Heritage. This is one that is full grain leather that I was able to go with a true size 12, plenty of room all the way through, molds to your foot, wide base, and has a normal tongue with a lot of room and flexibility, strangely enough. Let's see if you can get it here, guys. This is using the same material like on the Jordan 15s, kind of that cross stitch knit. So there's actually a lot of room right here. If you're a wide footer, this thing is fantastic. Retail was about 120. Last time I've seen it, they were on clearance at Nike for like 50 or 60 bucks, and they are getting harder to find, but this is something you can pick up. Is incredibly wide foot friendly, outdoor friendly, durable, quality materials, and was just a low-key amazing pickup. Next on the list is another one that is harder to come by here in the States, and that's the T-Mac Millennium. This is the first generation. The second generation did come out, I believe, only in Southeast Asia. We did not see those in the States. It is using the same tooling, the second version and the first one, and I can tell you this is a size 12, and it was huge on me. I probably could have done an 11. Very wide base, which you guys can just see right here, or it doesn't actually have a slim middle line at all. This is something that has plenty of room in the toe box, regular tongue, high instep, doesn't matter who you are, what your foot shape. This is another one that is going to be durable for outdoor, super cushioned, and really wide foot friendly. The most I've seen this place is on eBay or Amazon. I'll have some links down below, but if you can find a pair and you're looking for something high cushion, really comfortable for your foot shape, this is going to work. Now, this is the first shoe that comes to mind when people say they want a wide foot friendly shoe that is easy on the budget, and that's going to be your Dame 6. Now, the Dame 7 is just on the horizon. I have no idea how that's going to fit, if it's going to be better or worse. This specifically is the Pusher T version, Pusha T, and this is using a little bit higher quality materials than the rest of the Dame 6 lineup, so it actually has a lot better lateral containment. The majority of the lineup for the Dame 6 is using a little bit less robust materials, so a lot of people had issues with the durability of the shoe. A lot of folks with normal or narrow foot had issues with the lockdown of the shoe. But if you have a wide foot, if you have a foot that has some girth, a high instep, it was awesome. This is one of the few shoes, again, like the T-Mac, I went with the size 12 and it was amazing, but when I was playing hard, the containment was just lacking, and I actually went with an 11.5, and it's just barely too tight, but with break-in, I ended up loving it. Now, something that I was looking to get, maybe a second pair of these, but this has the similar light strike with actually probably 30% more light strike. So this is giving me a little bit more cushion. It's giving me even better traction. And this is giving me the same wide foot friendly feel I'm getting, but this is just really tight on the top of my foot. The fit, you have no issues. One caveat I want to give you if you're looking at a Dame 6 is try to get one with the solid outsole. Makes a huge difference. I had 2 pairs. The clear outsole was okay, and a lot of people who did the reviews did it on the clear outsoles, because the majority of these do come with either a full clear, half a clear, or an interior part that's a clear or translucent outsole. The full rubbers are going to give you the best performance, and at least the Pusher T version, this is probably the only one that had both combo of that a little bit stronger materials on the outsole and that exterior and the solid traction outsole. So look at what colorway you're going to get and just know what you're getting. But as far as fit and just being an overall great performer, this thing has been awesome. And finally, kind of number one, only because this is legit the only shoe in the basketball market in the entire world that is available with a specific wide last. And that's the Ominous by New Balance. Guys, it speaks for itself. I was able to get this in a size 13 on the initial release, and I had some space width-wise. It felt good. I didn't think I can go down. I have a 12.5 in the Kawhi, which again has a lot of room in it, but I couldn't go to a 12 just because of the width. This I was able to get in a 12 wide, and the fit is unbelievable. Getting it on has some stretch here, just enough so it's okay, but some people may have issues, but this does have a nice kind of lycra to it. The upper is more of a knit versus like the Kawhi that's a little bit stronger material. So again, you have more room in the toe box and the midfoot where it just gives. And the last itself is really wide, which means when you torque it down, a lot of wide footers and very narrow or normal footers, if you guys are watching this, which if you are, thank you for watching, you have to always loosen the laces and you're trying to get a fit because it just hurts on the sides of your feet. This is one, because it's wide enough, it doesn't really hurt the sides of your feet. You're able to torque it down more than most shoes, which you kind of need with this shoe to give you that extra containment, but you can do it and it's okay. The fit becomes amazing. Getting this in a wide is fantastic. Right now, the only place I've seen the wide is directly from New Balance, so I'm not sure if that's available worldwide, and I believe it's only available on the lows. Maybe if you have some of the colorways and the mids available. I hope the Kawhi comes out in a wide version. I will have a full review on that coming out pretty soon, or maybe it's already published at this time. But the New Balance Ominous in a wide is literally in a league on its own, and I can absolutely recommend it. This was tied for my shoe of the year for 2019, which I never quite did, but traction, cushion, materials, craftsmanship, fit, all top of the class, where other shoes may be as good or they may be more in certain areas, but nothing's beating it like to an extreme extent. This does everything really well. Now, the very last category I really wanted to touch on is shoes I don't have yet, or shoes that are just hard to get. The first one is going to be the Peak Lightning, or Peak shoes in general. I know they're underground shoe. They are hard to get in a size 12, 13, bigger sizes. I was able to get a Lightning in a size 12, and it actually fit really well. It had a lot of room to it, but that's just harder to get worldwide, especially here in the States and even in those bigger sizes. So I can't necessarily say, hey, this is one I highly recommend, go get it. If Peak did do a better job of offering those bigger sizes and make it easier available for folks to maybe even try on, absolutely, it's a very good shoe, and I'm trying to put together a review for that soon. The second is going to be a shoe I don't own, but I was able to try on, and I do have on its way. Hopefully I'll have it by next week, and that's the Under Armour Embiid 1. This is the first shoe since probably the Clutch Fit 1 that has been Widefoot friendly. I was able to go in the size 12 in store and was surprised at how well it fit. I didn't have to go up a size to a 12.5 like most Under Armour, or even a 13 like most Currys I have. And the cushion was very moderate. Moderate meaning more than just your court feel basic guard shoe, but moderate is a little well balanced. Even one of the guys I follow, Shade and Souls, he said it was too much cushion for him. Well, so for me, that's a good thing, because again, he's about 80 pounds less than me. So we all have our preferences, but I try to do things by comparison. And the fact that this has a little bit more cushion than the rest of the Under Armour lineup, is a little more wide foot friendly, I'm excited to try that one out. So I can't necessarily recommend it yet, but at least just on initial try on in store, I can say it bodes well. Guys, girls, athletes all over the world, if you enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider sharing it. Let me know if I missed anything or if you have any questions, if I should do any comparisons. I'm trying to look around me and see if I got everything, but hopefully I went through a lot of the brands in the market. I went through a lot of my collection and really wanted to give you the top shoes available. Some of the prices I'll either post it throughout the video, or I'll have links below. You guys can click on that. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. As always, this is Levi Sneaker Gears. I appreciate you, and I will come at you later.